Do you need QuickBooks in your author business, or are there any other options out there? In this group of videos, we're answering the 5 questions you should be asking your CPA. Probably the most common response we get to what questions do you have is, I'm not even sure what questions I'm supposed to be asking. So we made this list of 5 questions that you should be asking your CPA. We put it in a pretty little PDF. If you would like to get a copy of that, there's a link in the description to join our newsletter. The very first thing you get will be that PDF. So last time we covered what entity your author business should be. If you didn't catch that, go check it out. And if you've been following along, you'll know that this is also kind of my journey into creating a YouTube channel and making content on YouTube. I'm obviously not an expert at this, but I'm trying really hard for each video to be incrementally better than the video before it. In this video, focusing more on the structure, changed some stuff with the audio settings. Not sure if that helped or not. But if there's anything else you see that could use some improvement that would make this more enjoyable to watch, like maybe getting rid of the trash in the corner or fixing the dead plant over there, let me know. All I want to do is make great content for you. So if there's something that's making this a little bit distracting or not as easy to digest, I want to know it. I'm Seth Norris. I'm a CPA and I run a virtual accounting practice where we help authors have higher profits, lower taxes, and more time to write great books. And as you write more books, you'll have more income coming into your business and more expenses coming out of your business. And you will need a way to track that, if for no other purpose, just for taxes, but probably to get some good information out of those numbers so that you can know, is your business being successful? Is it growing the way that you really need it to grow? So do you need QuickBooks? At what point does that make sense, or are there other options out there other than QuickBooks? In this video, we'll cover 3 reasons why you might want QuickBooks for your author business. And at the end, I'll give you a bonus on some alternatives to QuickBooks if you need something, but you just don't want to go the QuickBooks route. As we go through this, just know that there's like an inverse relationship between how easy it's going to be to get your bookkeeping done versus how much you're going to pay for it. For example, you could track everything on paper. You could have a pen and paper and write down every single transaction. You can add all that together, make your own little charts and graphs, which would be extremely cheap, but also very time consuming and not very easy. On the total opposite end of the spectrum, you could have someone doing all your numbers for you, presenting them to you every month, giving you analysis into those numbers, into what they mean, which would be extremely easy, but wouldn't necessarily be cheap. There's definitely a spectrum in the middle, and you just got to figure out where you fall and what's worth it to you. So these are the 3 reasons why you might want to have QuickBooks for your author business. Reason number 1, if you have multiple streams of income from different sources and for different things, then QuickBooks might make sense. I'll give you the opposite example first. If you're just doing Amazon KDP US only, then you know that every deposit into your business bank account is going to be royalty income from Amazon. That's really not hard to separate out. After that, all you're really doing is tracking expenses, and there's probably cheaper and easier ways to track your expenses than using QuickBooks. On the other hand, if you have multiple sources of income, like Shopify if you're selling direct, and Amazon if you also have your stuff over there, maybe you do Kickstarters from time to time, maybe you also have speaking engagements or courses or consulting that you have, all these different sources of income need to be aggregated in one place somewhere. The easiest way to aggregate all those into one place somewhere would be using something like QuickBooks that has access to all those different channels and can accumulate all that for you in one place. Reason number 2 why you might want to have QuickBooks for your author business is if you want to do more with your numbers, if you're going to analyze them on a regular basis and see how they've changed over time, and you just want all the data in one location, QuickBooks is a great option for you. You can have things connected to QuickBooks like A2X and Dext that actually connect your QuickBooks to Shopify and Amazon and all your different sales channels, and can record those transactions for you in QuickBooks on a line-by-line basis, meaning you could know by looking at QuickBooks how many of each title you sold, what format you sold it in, what platform did you sell it on, and so on. And you can compare all that to all of your expenses, even possibly related to that specific book if you have like production expenses or costs related to that specific set. Now, getting into that level of detail does get complicated and it can get costly because you probably will need a higher level of QuickBooks, and you'll definitely want to get some sort of outside support to help you get that all set up and running on a normal basis. But even without that level of detail, you can still get a good bit of information from QuickBooks if everything is in there. Like if you wanted to track your ROAS, or if you wanted to see other expenses as a percentage of revenue over time, if you want to track your margins, which you should be, QuickBooks is a really good place to do that. So what if you don't need that level of analysis? All you're doing this for is to track things for tax purposes. And maybe you only have one or two sources of income, and so that's not an issue either. Is there another reason you may still want to use something like QuickBooks? And that's reason number 3. You might want to use QuickBooks if it's just worth the time saved for you. I know that we do work for a lot of authors that we're saving them enough time by doing their bookkeeping in QuickBooks for them that they're able to put out another 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 books per year with the time saved. Imagine the amount of money you could be making on that many more releases every year. For them, the math is a no-brainer. It makes a lot of sense to pay to have someone else run their QuickBooks, or to pay to have QuickBooks, knowing that it's saving them that time. You'll have to do your own cost-benefit analysis there to see, is your time worth it for what you would have to pay for QuickBooks to save the time of doing it manually, or to even have somebody else doing it for you. This is the bonus section. If you decide you do want some sort of software, but for some reason you want to stay away from QuickBooks, what other alternatives are out there? One alternative to QuickBooks is called Xero. That's spelled Xero. It's probably the best known alternative to QuickBooks, but it is very different from QuickBooks. It does download your bank transactions just like QuickBooks does, and it does try to categorize those for you. But the way that you match those transactions, or the way that you actually get those transactions into your accounting system, is very different mindset with Xero than it is with QuickBooks. So if you have any kind of background with QuickBooks or accounting in general, Xero may feel weird for you. But if you're looking for the best known alternative to QuickBooks, then Xero is probably your choice. A lesser known alternative to QuickBooks is Wave Accounting, W-A-V-E. I want to say this one's actually owned by H&R Block. It's totally free accounting software. The way that they get you is they want you to use their platform for sending invoices and processing payments because they charge payment processing fees. But otherwise, it's totally free to use. It's very clunky. If you don't understand accounting and the way that transactions get recorded within your P&L or whatever your financial statement is, then it could be difficult to understand, and it's very easy to lose track of things in there. But if you have any kind of basic knowledge of accounting and reconciling accounts, then it could be a good choice for you if you're looking for a cheaper option. But probably my favorite alternative to QuickBooks that's kind of a middle of the road option cost-wise is YNAB. The letters YNAB stands for You Need a Budget. This is actually personal budgeting software. And me and my family, we've been using this for years. We were using this before there was a web app and a mobile app. Like, you would actually download the software on your computer and update your transactions manually. It's a really great software that has come a long way. You can have as many budgets within YNAB as you would like, and it connects to your bank accounts, whichever ones you want it to connect to. It downloads the transactions and it tries to learn how those transactions get categorized. It doesn't have as deep learning as QuickBooks does, but I'll be honest, a lot of times QuickBooks gets it wrong, so it's probably better to pay more attention to it anyway. What I like about YNAB is it's more forward-looking, whereas QuickBooks is more backwards-looking. In QuickBooks, you categorize all your transactions, you go look at a report, and you see what happened. With YNAB, you categorize your transactions, and then based on the money you have available, there's a budget screen where you can say there's this much money available to budget, and this is where I'm planning on using it. Maybe you have some fixed monthly expenses like your Shopify expenses, your Canva subscription, your accounting fees, and you can budget those out and then see how much you have left over and then allocate where you plan on using those. And then as the month goes on and you actually categorize those transactions, you can see how you're coming against those budgeted categories because it subtracts from the available to budget. YNAB is really powerful. I'm going to put a link in the description. It may be a referral link, and in which case, if you sign up for it, I think I get a free month or something like that. So just want to disclose that. So there it is. Those are 3 reasons you may want to use QuickBooks in your author business, plus some alternatives to QuickBooks if you want something but not QuickBooks. If there are any other softwares you've come across that you want my opinion on, let me know in the comments. If there's any other topics that you would like me to talk about for your author business that would be helpful, also let me know that. If there's any other improvements to this that I can be doing that would make this easier for you to digest, I want to know that as well. And whatever it is I'm supposed to say at the end of these videos, like and subscribe, share, whatever it is, always appreciate that. Thanks.